but like I do know who I am. Like I am a funny person. I know I'm kind of a dick. I'm sure a lot of people clicked off already for not liking my style.
Joe Sooch, welcome to the See-Through podcast, man.
Thank you for having me. Let's do this.
For the listeners out there who are brand new to you, I would love for you to, give them an introduction, because you call yourself, the man turning into stone. And, that's a very like ominous, almost like cinematic title. It could be a movie title. So
yeah, and anything to get clicks and likes and all of that good stuff.
So is your disability as cinematic and as bold as that title, the man turning into stone? Let's talk about FOP.
I mean, I think so. Like my condition is called FOP, and my muscles are literally turning into bones. So I was born normally to move all my limbs. Now I lost like 95% of my body. So I'm kind of basically a giant stone that can't be skipped on a lake or anything like that. I'll just fall into the bottom of a lake and that's it. So yeah, I think it's pretty ominous. I think sounds cool, like a really shitty superhero, but it's just something that I try to I get that shit pad in the name to myself. But like, who else will really no one else can say the man turning into stone except like me. So I just don't have to pay the patenting office, but it can be a lot of money.
No, it's definitely a great name. FOP is very rare, right? Like not many people have it.
Around like 8 to 900 people. They keep finding more people. I'm like, well, at one point it's not gonna be rare anymore, so stop finding people.
Yeah, that's very low. Like for example, I have RP and it's considered rare, but the statistic is like, I think there's 2 million people, I think, in the world with RP. So like 2 million compared to 800 or 900 is like night and day difference. So it's like,
yeah, I think they call it like ultra rare, which is they just keep adding, I think, adjectives.
Dude, if you were a Pokemon card, you would like be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, someone called me like a Mewtwo of the human world. I'm like, okay, that's a good analogy. Mewtwo with the shit though. No one fucks with him.
He was cool, man. He was like the star of the movie. I remember going to that as a kid, and I got the card, went to the movie theater. They gave me the holographic, Mew card, and then the Mewtwo card.
You did bring him flashbacks now. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah. All right, so going back to FOP. So you have this ultra rare disease that you were born with, and you said you lost 95% of the movement of your muscles.
Yes.
All right. So you are a wheelchair user.
Yes.
I just like to paint, a picture for, people listening, so that way they know where you're coming from and your perspective. And because, now we're going to get into topics. You are a YouTuber.
Yes.
That might be unexpected. People might be like, oh, shit, the man turning into stone is a YouTuber.
Well,
not only are you a YouTuber, but you're monetized and you're a podcaster.
Yeah. Can you compliment me if I brag about myself? It comes out off as arrogance, but if you brag about me, then it comes out as admiration and awesome stuff. So
yeah, but your channel's awesome. Your channel's doing really well. You're killing it. You do a lot of interviews similar to like what I'm doing on my channel, and you also have a lot of standalone content where it's just kind of you talking to the camera, and a lot of it's very funny, and you utilize your sense of humor, and it's very hard to be entertaining and just talking to a camera, and that's it.
It's very hard because I'm very into the comedy world and such, and so a lot of people don't realize this till when they watch a comedy special on Netflix, and it's an hour long. You think what they do is easy, but you don't see them going out every night. They only have 5 to 10 minutes of they're working with new content. Some of it's shit, some of it's okay. They work on it. They keep going. They use the audience to have reaction of hey, this joke flies, this joke doesn't. For me, it's nothing. I do all the script writing. I don't have an audience to tell me if it's good or not, or if it's too raunchy or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just base it on my guts and just go with it, and then that's it. And then also like, some people be like, they try to include everything in one video, and I'm like, I have like 300 more videos to go. Like I'll include stuff in other videos too, and have like kind of like guidance in the different topics to talk about. Like I love the creativity of it, and just like, how do I get a script, but how do I make it funny? Yeah, I'm one of the funny person, but I need to be in a situation that's funny, so I react well when I'm talking to another person. I can create humor from that. But when you're alone, it's hard to create it. Like you can't just like tell me to be funny. Like you have to like be in a situation. So I think it's a very hard art for what I do to write something, and then also include jokes to be funny and such, and also sometimes include like a video edit into it or something. Like a lot, my creativity it's very I'm a very creative person. It's very I'm a very smart YouTuber in terms of how I do my content, but it's also a very hard sport to do, and I'm killing it.
Yeah, you are, man, and you've helped me. I just did an interview for your channel, and afterwards you kind of gave me some pointers, and I've been implementing them. And
I see it.
I'm like you, like I'm an independent creator. Like, so I'm in my room. If I'm doing a solo episode or a solo video, it's just me and my camera, and like my wife in the other room trying to be quiet. So it's weird, and you have to have a certain personality type to want to even do it. And especially like in my situation where I'm not monetized and I have, low numbers, and I'm trying to build and grow, you kind of have to be a little bit delusional. So like,
exactly, yeah. Yeah, you have to be very motivated. Yeah, you have to be motivated to do it for a long time. Like I'm sure you've seen some of your videos get like 5 views, and you're like, shit, should I just quit and give up? And then you get like the 100-view video, and you're like, yes, we're going somewhere and such. But I think of like, I try not to do the videos individually. I think of it as a whole, because to get monetized, you need 2,000 watch hours in a year. So I just do it based on a whole year. Like if I have like a shit video, I have like 6 more videos coming out. Like I'm already focused on the future. Like I have episodes ready till February, I think March now. Like we're filming this in November. So like I think I keep going with my content, because you have to trust yourself and your product that it will do well. And then also think about, if one video does really well, then all the other videos will do better, because they're more likely to click on a different video and such and do that. So that's how I think of it long term. But it's also a personal fulfillment, just to get my creativity out and my humor out and creativity out, just to put it out in the open, and just to see what the society gives you. I was gonna ask you a question. Would you believe me that I never took a filming class in my life?
I would believe you, because you're a big YouTuber. So I would imagine, because I know how many resources are out there in terms of video content.
I never took one filming class. I remember I was working with someone that was a film major, and she was like, "You're better than most people that are here studying for 4 years." And I just took it up. I think you can learn so much when you go to school, but I think there's something that you can teach in terms of like creativity and style of it. Like there's something you have to cultivate on your own, and that's what I kind of been doing. But also just being true to yourself. Like you'll be like, oh, you'll go out to like James Cameron or all these amazing directors, but like you gotta do what makes you happy and what fits your style, and that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
But also gotta think of like, as a marketing thing, like what. So like right now, like superheroes is overused, and I think the audience is kind of getting tired of it. Like Marvel kind of ended their movie series for a while. I mean, I think Thor is coming out and stuff, but I think we're just getting tired of it. They're pushing the Star Wars content way too much. Now there's like 6 shows of Star Wars, and it's exhausting. And now the DC comics are coming in. I think we're just tired of the comics. But if you look at the filming, we go in waves of, like Cowboys was really popular for like a decade, and then superheroes was popular, and then like Superman was popular, and then it dies out, and then they produce new movies. We go in stages. So I think we're just exhausted with that. Also with the disability niche, it's kind of it's a really small niche, and I kind of saw the competition. I didn't think it was that great, honestly. I don't see many people that have like the confidence that I do, but also like the different way of me seeing things. I feel like everyone's too like positive and almost too toxic positive, and just I think it's a high mind with the chronic ill community, and I don't know, I just felt always different about it, so I just started talking about myself and like what I think of it, and then I'm sure there could be videos in the future that people are not gonna like, but I'm gonna try to defend myself in the best way I can. And people don't like me, I mean, they're obligated to unfollow me. Like I got 4,000 followers in the past like year, but I also lost like 1,000 followers too. It's also weird because
trial and error.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll like.
But those are the followers. Those are the followers, man. Like if you didn't lose them then, you would have lost them later.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's kind of like, and that's kind of how I look at it. Is like if you're going to unfollow because you are sensitive about something I said, in my mind, I'm like, go ahead, because you're not who you're not who I want my audience to be.
I mean, I totally get that.
So
I mean, to me, I just focusing on what I like and such, and to have the audience want to like me. Like I'm not gonna force anything on anyone. Like you're free to follow and unfollow whoever you want to be. Like you're an individual person. I'm not gonna force you to do anything. I'm just gonna do me and fuck society. I'll just do me, and hopefully, but it's also to be authentic too. I could totally go the route of being more PG and more toward sponsors and stuff. I'm sure I could make a killing off of that, but I would be pretty unhappy with that.
Yeah, your channel is very, cut and dry. People really can tell pretty quickly if they're going to like your humor. It's like most comedy, right? Not every comedian's for everyone. So everyone has like a niche audience. Some comedians, are more widely popular than others because they're able to kind of ride that line a little bit more.
I mean, I'm also like happy that we're living in such a political time, and everyone like sensitive, because it makes my art stand out even more, because it's just like it's a reaction. Like if someone's just pandering to you, you don't really feel anything, but if someone's against you, they're kind of wanting to like go with it. But yeah, everyone has their niche, and I think I keep doing it. I think it's just rare in the disability community, just because everyone seems to be in a hive mind of like supporting each other. I'm like, I don't think it's working. I think it.
Well, let's talk about that because I feel like, and I'll say it,
No.
and I mean this with respect.
Controversial coming in.
Your disability, having it be ultra rare, and having it be, I'll just use the word intent. It's an intense, disability. It's an intense condition. Like I read a lot of your Reddit AMA.
Okay.
And talked a lot about how painful it can be. And
I mean,
when because your muscles are turning.
Yeah, but I'm wild on Reddit. It's so awesome to play with the audience too. I did pee myself.
Yeah, people were loving your comedic answers, but we'll get into that a little bit later too. But my point is like your disability and your condition is intense. Whereas like from my point of view, it's like makes my RP feel small. And I know a lot of people have like they frown upon like the hierarchy of disability, who's I wanted to ask you about that. Like, do you ever like what's your feelings on like the disability hierarchy? Do you ever like see someone with a different disability, but you're just like in your mind, you're like, that would be a piece of cake if I had that. Or do you have empathy still, or is it harder to have empathy?
I mean, I think everyone that has a disability deserves some. I mean, I think everyone in general deserves to have respect. Just living life, I think life itself is really hard, and I kind of never made a video of it yet, but I have it in the future that I think disability people shouldn't be alive because life is so difficult, and like it just, and then if you're having extra barriers, I think life in general is just difficult for everyone or for most people. But like if you add a disability to the mix, it gets even harder, and it's so hard to like survive and deal with dating and being happy and stuff. I feel like some people just can't be happy with a disability and living the life the way it is, and there's nothing we can really do as society to like help them. It's just they just got bad cars, and unfortunately they can't do anything. But I do think that like invisible disability, I know it can be really difficult for like, like you hear like people going to the doctor and they'll get like the blood result and everything's fine, but they're like in pure agony and pain and such. And I feel for them, but at the same time, and it's also a much better disease because they don't have to disclose it to anyone. They can just appear normal. I think it helps a lot with just in regular society of like getting a job and stuff like that, and like dating and all that, where mine is much physically, like you see it from across the room and stuff, and it's, like they say like, oh, it's the beauty's on the inside, and it's like, yeah, I can get it if you're like a regular person, just average looking person, maybe even a little uglier, that's fine. But like when you go into like this extreme end of like not everyone is beautiful, like I don't think I think I'm a good looking person in terms of like my face, but like the rest of the body is not attractive at all. And like there's no amount of positivity gonna change that at all. It's not gonna change society at all. Like I kind of get upset when like people will call like other disability people like, oh, you're so beautiful and such, and like the question I do want to ask anyone is, would you switch places with them if they're so beautiful? And most of them would say no. And then so that would be like, so you don't think they're as beautiful as they seem. I guess to like pump them up and to like give them like positive reinforcement, but I feel like everyone is raised too much on a pedestal, and like they fall down because they hurt a lot because they fall down from a high place. And I'm just like, I accept that I'm just ugly, I am the way I am, and I just go on with that because I feel like I live in a real sense of reality. I'm not like, oh, I'm this beautiful person and I'm valued because I'm alive and stuff. And it's like, no, you're not. You haven't. Well, the other thing to add to that, the chronic ill community is dominated by women. So a lot of the rhetoric behind disabilities are behind women. I find their way of thinking flawed, or it's only geared towards women. So a big thing is like, I'm sure you see a lot of it like, we are valued people. Like when we're sick, we're valued and we're beautiful and all that. And that's such a women way of thinking because, like when a boy and a girl are born, women are given value because, they can give birth and reproduce for the world, where men don't have any value. They got to create value in themselves. So they got to start working and such and provide for a family. Like when you're dating someone, a woman kind of looking to a guy to like, how do will he be secured? Like, will he help me in times of need? Like, if we have a family, like the basic is that the men bring the money and like protect, and just regular man versus women roles. I know it sounds kind of sexist too when you put it on the table like that, but I feel like it's kind of true for the most part. Yeah, there are gonna be some variables where like the woman makes more money and the guy stays home, and that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, people will look up to a guy. They need to be protected because guys are just stronger, and that's how we are raised. That's how like our human evolution is. The guy went and protected, and the women would stay home and like cook and provide, and they provide value to it too. But like men have to create the value in themselves. So like they have to become productive parts of society, learn what they're good at, what they're not good at, and such. And then it's also weird that women get praised so much, but then like why are they insecure in themselves? Like why they keep fishing for likes and posting photos all the time where they get admiration all the time and likes, and guy from India hitting them up and princesses from Nigeria wanting to fly them out and such. where guys don't get complimented at all. We don't get flowers at all. The only flowers we get is when we're dead, and we're not even alive for that. Like, we barely get complimented. We sometimes don't even get appreciated. We're just told to do these things and live with it.
Well, I think there's a lot to unpack there, but I will, on the point of like masculinity and men and women in the disability community, and I think the general topic of like body positivity is part of that, just that whole movement. Whereas for women, the body positivity movement, you'll see, plus size models in ads. But on the men's side, it's like all ripped dudes with six packs. It's like, it's very uneven in terms of, the body positivity movement seems to only really benefit women, while men are still kind of expected to have like, stereotypical, muscular frames and abs. But like from your perspective, I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. So like, for my question of the disability community, do you ever like analyze other disabilities? And yours is basically you still have a lot of empathy for the disability community because life is hard and having a disability makes it even harder. And and from your specific case, you really wanted to talk about like how it affects appearances and, specifically yours and how with dating, when you say you're ugly and, that is a very, that's the first time I've heard this, not many people like admit that publicly, like that they think that they're ugly. So like if you met someone and they told you that they thought you were beautiful, would you just think they were bullshitting you or
yeah.
Would you have?
I think it would be a different. I think we just gotta be using different words to describe things. I think it's, like if you're calling someone that's seemingly average or ugly beautiful, then it's like you're ruining the word beautiful for people who are actually beautiful. So like, I don't like the whole movement of like, like average people becoming modeled and they're being called beautiful, where there are people are actually really beautiful that deserve that. Like there's so many other words you can describe me. So like,
so like you're talking about physical, like physical beauty, physical appearance.
Yeah, like I don't like I think I'm not
the classic standards of beauty.
Like I don't think like ugly. I just think I'm unattractive. I think that's just a better word to do it. I think it's just we just use different words that you can describe me as brave.
But I would say you're attractive with how your sense of humor and your personality would make you attractive. Are you? I feel like even to go even further, it's like to say you got good fashion sense.
Are you flirting
with me right now? You got a handsome face. You do. I am flirting. You got a handsome face. But my point is just like, I get what you're saying. You're trying to be honest, according to society, realistic. Like with data and the average, beauty standard. When you're in a comparison to that, that's what you're talking about.
Well, I think of it like I think of it in like situations of like, I think like Love is Blind, where like they don't even see each other and they're just talking behind a wall. Yeah. Like I would kill it on that show, but the moment they reveal who I am as a person to the other person, that person will probably lose interest immediately because they're not. Mm-hmm. And
do you think that is more so, because this is how I think about it, because even whenever I told my wife that at the time, my girlfriend, that I had RP, I thought in my mind, I was like, that's going to make me unappealing. I wouldn't falter if she left because, it's going to make her life more difficult later on down the road, blah, blah, blah. And from like a technical standpoint of just like, again, you're talking about life is hard, throw a disability in there, it's hard. Do you think people, like women, would be not interested in you based off your appearance? Or have you ever considered, and I know you have, that maybe they're afraid of the change in their lifestyle to accommodate your disability?
Well, first, I think I would say that I think your wife is with you because you won't be seeing other girls anymore just by default. So like that's a huge plus in her book. So, I don't know. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe if you had like a different disability of like, I don't know, losing your ear, maybe a little different, but your eyesight, I don't know. But that's a conversation you can have at night. I see where you're going with it. I think it is a lot because I'm a very dependent person. I mean, I think there's like a lot of things. I think there's a lot of things that are going against me, which is really unfortunate. Like, so we can mention the disability part. That I think that's a huge. Like, I think like disability. Like, I don't like the disability community pushing it, but like I think having a disability is a red flag to someone. Like, why is it any different if someone had like kids, for example? Like, they didn't. Like, I think it's a red flag for people, and like that's totally understandable. Most people are not attracted to disabled people, and that's totally fine too. Like, I'm not attracted to fat people. Does that make me a bad person? No, but that's just the way it is. I think another thing is like to answer your question though, I think there is a fear of handling with me. Like, I got a new caregiver and she was just afraid to like touch me because like she doesn't know and anything, and I totally understand that, but I'm a very like open and communicative person and such, and like after a couple of days then it's a lot easier. I do understand that like the fragility of me is a fear in a lot of people, but I think like another thing is my personality. I'm a very straightforward and raunchy personality, and I think a lot of people like it, but maybe they don't like it from the beginning. They kind of like it when you're like you know, like when you're dating someone, you're kind of like slowly moving to like to the real you. Like, you do like a sex joke, like a little one, and you see if they react or not. You know, like then you go on and on, but more 100% from the beginning. And
you slowly introduce things, and then I'm that way. It's like if I meet someone, it's hard for me to just instantly.
I mean, I think that's
but the more you get to know me, the more I open up. And
I mean, I think it's like a normal setting of society, and I think it's great. But like, I think it just takes too much time for me to be in a shell myself. So that's why I always do like, I just go to 100% and be like, you're gonna like me from the beginning or not. And I think that what hurts me, that I don't develop that slowness, so them getting to like me or dislike me in any capacity. I think like another
because it's like a caregiver, like to my point, it's like that's very foreign. Like, to most people, that's foreign.
Like, I have to meet
me it's foreign.
You have to meet someone like to caregive. I think that will be a huge plus, but I also don't think it's fair to be reliant on someone in that capacity either. So like, even though I was dating someone, I would want a caregiver on the side, because like we have to, caregiving burnout, which is a lot, and it's just a lot to handle a person and the stress on the person. So I do understand that. I think like another reason is just a small pool of people that I do get to meet. Like, I don't have, like we're like, let's say we all, like you might meet 100 people in a day and 5% of them like you. So like the chances of you having 5 people to like you is pretty high because you have 100 people, but I only might meet like 5 people. So the chances are even so low to have anyone like me. So the pool of people that I meet is really small too. And then I think the other big thing is just really my personality in terms of just how I operate and like want to move my life forward. Because I'm a very like business oriented person now. with my YouTube
Yeah.
and such, and like have a career going. I have to meet someone that is comfortable the way I am comfortable with my life. So like if I'm dating someone, I want them to appear on my videos and be open with stuff. And there are a lot of things I do want to talk about. Like I'm gonna respect the other person's values, and like they don't want to talk about it on the camera, and I'll respect it. But it wouldn't work out in a relationship because I don't want to be cuffed based on someone else's comfort level. Like I'll respect it, but I will have to break up with the person because it wouldn't really make me happy to have to meet someone that's at my caliber of how to push content forward and how like my match with my personality to like a big topic I want to talk about sex, because that's not very talked about much in the disability world, and I want to be that couple that talks about sex openly. I think sex is a positive thing, and I think it is a taboo topic. I mean, from a marketing perspective, if a taboo is always going to get tons of views, and if you include women in your thumbnail, people are just going to click it regardless of what it is. So, like, that would be great. But, like, I also know from a marketing perspective, interracial relationship is so rare, and especially with my personality, if I have someone that matches my personality, I talked to, like, 2 girls that we were really getting along with, and like I generally believe that we would have like a powerhouse of a couple, like a huge following on it and everything, and we get speaking gigs and all that because we're able, and it's rare, and also as it's what I bring different to the table, how like funny I am, and just different fun of it, just. And I also find it.
What I'm gathering from this, man, is you are not willing to bend, but I'm not saying that like in a negative way. I'm not like, you need to bend. I'm saying like, you just know who you are, what you're expecting of people, and what you want. And as someone with FOP, and just modern dating in general, like it's hard out there in general. It's just the numbers game in terms of people who you're compatible with is just very small. So therefore you don't think you're likely to meet a partner.
I mean, yeah, I've been interviewed. I think you're my 80-ish guest, and I'll say like I like personally I like less than like 10 of them. Like I think we'll have like I will like meet up them for lunch or something, or like we'll have a good conversation. But the rest are just, I mean, most of them are good people, and there's nothing wrong with them. We just didn't mesh well. Like I had an interview yesterday, and we did not mesh well at all. Like we just did our conversation, and we said goodbye to each other, and we just left. And it's a part of the game. Like she was a successful businesswoman, like just from that perspective, that was attractive. But we didn't mesh well at all with personality or anything like that. And I'm not gonna. We just didn't mesh well, and we just moved on.
Yeah,
and that was it.
And I think that's fine, man. I think that's good to know who you are and what you want. And, so, I mean, I want to tell you to not be so hard on yourself, but you already know that. So, but I think that, just try to be a little bit more, maybe open to that someone actually could be interested in you.
I mean, I'm open to most people. Like, I'll talk to a lot of people, but I think if we're I try to I just kind of tell them straight of what I want in a relationship. So a big thing I would love to do is start an OnlyFans and become a disabled porn star, because for one, there's no guys are in that field. I think there's one guy, but it doesn't even show his face. So it'd be great for me to capitalize on that and just have a different medium, different avenue.
Do people have fetishes? Is there a fetish kind of world out there for disabled men?
I mean, for me, it would just be a lot of fun. I like public stuff. I like being open with it. I like having a lot of fun with it. I love filming. I love being behind the camera. I like being a character, but I'm also the character I am. Just being funny and entertaining, I think. But I think it also fulfill me personally, but also be professional of there's a niche of a market that no one has ever captured before. So I can be that person. And like, since I don't have competition, like, they're just gonna have to watch me. And you know, I'm gonna grow in so many different avenues, and like, who knows what it'll take me forward. But I think we'll also have one life to live, and I'm gonna keep pushing myself forward to the maximum amount of people and just have fun with it, because I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm here to make money and power moves, and like, I'm not really here for I'm here for the fame and power.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
No one says that out loud.
I'm to do anything that will help me get to that thing that money necessarily can't buy, and I'm kind of putting myself out there a lot. I feel like I should be getting more back, which is a little weird and unfortunate, but like, I don't know what to do anymore. What gets frustrating for me is that I don't know what else I can do anymore to like but I just have to keep making more videos and keep meeting people, and then hopefully I'll meet that one person that helped me, and then, or have that one video that helped me get into a huge amount of views and such. But I don't know, I have a lot negative that go towards me, and I think you can do a pros and cons list, but I think I have a lot against me that makes me unattractive besides my disability, that like just to even if I was a regular person, the pool of people that would meet my caliber of would be so small that I'm kind of like shooting myself in the foot and making myself miserable, which really sucks. But I also have to be authentic with myself, and I can't be in like a relationship where I am not happy with it, but I'm not going to just be in one just because it's just a girl to have sex with. No, I'll have to have something that helps me become.
Yeah.
I'm a very cerebral person. I need someone that has to match my cerebralness, and that would make me really happy. And if they can't do that, then I just can't be with that person, because it just wouldn't make me happy, and it'll just make me more miserable the longer I am with. And I think that's just, it's more on me than, I don't blame society for the way they are. I think it's a more of a me problem, and I don't know. There's nothing I can really do at this point.
Yeah, everyone has taste. Everyone has preferences, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't fault you for, you know, having, you know, a list of things you're looking for. But, you know, some people will surprise you, you know, the more time you spend around. I guess that's the only thing I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I try, like,
that.
if I'm talking with different people, like, I'll try to have a conversation. I think it is rough. I don't know, people are not liking it, or liking me, or like anyone. Like, I'll talk to people and they'll just stop talking and such for whatever reason, and the ghosting and such. There's been people that I wasn't really attractive to physically or not, and I just want to see where it goes, and like, I'll see where it goes. But most people just don't understand me, or they just can't, they just can't like handle me, I guess. Not even a physical sense, but just a mental space. Like, they just don't understand the jokes and such, and like, I don't want to sit there and explain my jokes. It's just, but I think I'm just a very unique person that will also have to meet someone that's very unique too. And it's great in the YouTube world and such, but it's awful in like day-to-day life. And I don't know, like, I wish I was born differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I'll be honest, like, as a host, like, you're saying things that I've never been told, so it's like I'm like trying to wrap my mind around like how to even address it, because it's like I try to have a podcast, you know, more like see-through is like, you know, how to learn to kind of grow with your disability and like kind of accept it, admit that it's, you know, makes your life more difficult, but also like, okay, how do I, you know, crush life with the disability? So when it's like, when you're open about like, you know, and saying some negative things, it is refreshing, because it's like, all right, I know you're being authentic, but it also, like, to be honest, like, it kind of makes me a little sad a little bit, honestly.
Even you're saying it, like, you don't, like, it's like so much to like handle almost. Like, I feel I like try to live like the reality of things, Like, so like I mentioned before, like life isn't fair for people, and people try to live in an alternate reality of life is fair, life isn't fair, and you know, like I've been given shit cards to deal with, and I'm playing the best that I can. Like, I'm doing a lot of hard work where if a regular person would do the same amount of work that I do, I'm sure they would get farther in life because they wouldn't have, because they, like, if a regular person didn't have a disability, I'm sure they would get farther in life. I think like a big thing, if I wasn't disabled, I think I'd be a lot more attractive to women in general, and I think I would get more opportunity just because I think I would get more opportunity to have a longer relationship with women so they can explore more of me. Because if they're not attracted to me from the beginning, they're not going to want to continue it at all. And I think that would have helped just to be more likely to be wanting to be me. I think it's also like when you see a disabled person, you kind of think lower of them too. And like that's just the society thing. I'm always gonna fight that. That comes with the territory. It's just, I think it's to try and think realistically of how society will be deciding. I think that's the best way to live life, because if you're living by your own set of rules and it doesn't work, but you're creating the rules, so of course it's not gonna work. But if you follow the rules of society, it kind of makes more sense. So like, I know a disability person, like I don't think I'm supposed to be monetized. I think that's just almost a fluke in a way. Like it's just such a weird, like I shouldn't be getting just opportunities almost, because we're like shut down when you have a disability, that you'll see like barriers of entry and all that. And like I'm also thinking like long term, and you know, like just disability people will be like, oh, we want to change the way we do things and such. And like the best advocate for disability people are people who are not disabled. They'll listen to them more, and then they'll listen to us. I don't know, it's something psychological. I don't know. It's just something society would be. Unfortunately.
So what you're saying is like, in terms of your channel, you think you're surprised that you have success because from your experiences, you find that, cause on YouTube, you know, your audience is just whoever's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not like to be monetized. It's not just your friends and family watching. It's like strangers who have found your channel and grown to like it. And that's what the beauty of YouTube is. But what you're saying is from your experiences, you know, most people are not interested in learning about your disability or even listening to you. That's partially, I'd say, why your channel is successful, because I think people are curious, and in real life, maybe they're uncomfortable to come up and talk to you.
Exactly.
But from the comfort of their home, they can watch your video and learn from you and hear what you have to say and hear your perspective. And then also when they do click on your video, they're getting like a real, you know, take of it versus kind of what you talked about at the beginning of the episode, where a lot of, you know, the messaging, you know, in the disability community is very like, you know, sunshine and rainbows sometimes, in terms of like how they want to paint a picture of, you know, everything's all good if everyone just thought this way and this way. But, you know, having a disability, like it's literally called like a disability, you know, like in the name, it's like, it does work against you. Like, you know, not being able to drive, you know, and for your instance, you need to have a caretaker, and it changes your lifestyle. And, you know, I think that scares people. And I think it scares people so much that I think they don't even want to entertain the idea in their head. Like they don't even want to like fantasize about what it would even be like to have a disability.
Yeah, I think,
you know, so they just shun it and kind of put it out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a big thing is kind of how I grew up. I'd never felt wanted in any situation. And, you know, like I was welcome to many places, but I wouldn't say I was necessarily wanted. Like people would, I get happy to see me, but I would never been directly invited to places, so have that going on. But it's also easy to like watch people on the internet, just like you're not having to deal with anything. Like I can talk about the deepest, darkest things, and like you'll watch it and then you either close it off and go about your day. But like if I came to your house and talk about the same thing on the video, and like in your room, it'll be a totally different ball game. Like now it's more intense, and like you don't want to deal with it. It's just there's like a bridge that's broken from the internet. I think that's what's helping me in that capacity too. Like, you know, like people think like I'm also kind of putting myself in the best light. So like I'm not like when I'm doing like the talking bits, you know, like you're not seeing me moving much, so you don't really see like how bad I am. You just kind of see me, and you also kind of get lost in what I do have, and it's like you're listening to conversation. But like if you saw me in person and me start moving, then you're just like, whoa, oh, well, okay, now this is a lot different than I actually thought. I mean, kind of the same with every disability. It's like I'm sure you kind of had a conversation with your girlfriend / wife now, like, oh, I'm gonna lose my vision, and she probably was like, okay, but like maybe you have a much more serious conversation later of like, no, like I'm gonna one point not be able to see anything. Like I went on the guy's website that you interviewed with a couple, and he like pictures of like what it looks like if you have normal vision and what it looks like when you have RP, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like it's not even just tunnel vision, but everything gets blurry too. And like I just thought you get tunnel vision. I didn't realize that it gets blurry too. And I think it is hard to imagine something versus sitting down and actually like seeing an example of it. Like I think you can even buy glasses for her if you want, and she could wear it for a day just to give her a real.
Yeah, it's hard. I think yeah, what we're getting at is that it's hard for people to get inside of, you know, what it actually feels like, or what we see, or how it feels to be in your body, and your lived in experience from day one to now. You know, your life with an ultra rare disease is very different than, you know, the average person's, you know, and that's a fact. And I think what your kind of blunt message is just kind of that. It's like, there are facts that come with this disability. I'm not going to disregard reality, but there are facts that come along with this that to your ears may sound harsh, may sound, you know, negative, but that is my reality. And I think there is power to that. And I think, yeah, you're going to scare people off for sure, because I think disabilities scare a lot of people. But I think you're also going to attract a lot of people, and that's, I think, proof, you know, with your YouTube channel and podcast. So
I mean, a flip to the coin with that is that yes, I'm kind of brutal with the honesty, but I'm also very secure about myself. So like if you call me ugly, I'm not gonna be like, no, you're wrong, and then like cry for 3 days. I'm maybe like, okay, that's fine. Like I have people like commenting on how my voice sounds. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like I don't think it's a bad voice, but I don't think it's a great voice either. I don't think it's a sexy voice like Morgan Freeman or something. Like I'm realistic with how I talk and everything. I think it gives me much more security because I know who I am as a person. Where if you're like, what bothered me is that like, you know, like if someone keep calling you like you're cute and you're funny and then such, but like no one wants to date you, then you're just like, are they like lying to you? Is it like there's like a disconnect that sense? Like, okay, like, but like I do know who I am. Like I am a funny person. I know I'm kind of a dick. I'm sure a lot of people clicked off already. We're not liking my style. You know, like I'm truthful with, yes, a lot of time it can be hurtful, but I'm also not like I'm not gonna tell the truth all the time. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, you look good, or I don't think you look good, and it's not worth me telling the truth. But like but like in larger situations, like, you know, like can't be like in this relationship where like they are insecure and I have to call them beautiful every 20 minutes. Like it's exhausting, and it's like it comes from you. It's like if I know who I am as a person and secure, and like there could be so many great things you can say about me, and I don't have to be
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, what would you say? Because it sounds like you have your perception of yourself on lock. Like you're super comfortable in your skin. You know what you're expecting for yourself. But what would you say to someone else? Like, let's say someone's born right now, with FOP, and you were going to be like their mentor. Like, how would you give that person who was born like a hope, that they can have, because you're alive, you're living, you're having success. It's like, I'll straight up ask the question, like, are you happy to be alive? And if someone's born with it, like, let's say you're not happy to be alive, but you want, I'm assuming you want them to possibly be happy with being alive because they were born, like, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't really think I'm happy per se, and I don't think I'll ever be fully happy with. There are things that do make me happy, and there have been some girls in the past that had made me really happy, but I think happiness kind of a subjective thing. I think like a big thing is that like maybe you notice it, maybe you don't, but like in the disability world, it'll just be like, like sometimes just taking a shower creates a really big happiness for a lot of people, and then for a regular person, it's like, I just did that this morning. Like, what are you talking about? But I think it's just what happens with like when you have like a shit life, your happiness meter goes down tremendously. So like little things increases your happiness to be really happy. Where for a regular person, a shower will just be a regular thing. Like, I didn't take a shower for 2 years. So like every time I take a shower, it's like a big deal because it's like a moment of something I can do. But yeah, like I just think.
But are you happy to be alive? Like, are you like you're happy to be here? I guess is my question.
So I'm happy to be on the podcast, but like I'm not happy with the way my life turned out. I'm not happy with how hard life is, and it'll always be hard. Like I'm never gonna get better in any capacity. There are trials going on and everything, but it won't help me anymore. It's gonna help the younger generation. Like all the advocacy and money will be towards them, so they can have a much less hell life than I ever had. Sure, I may seem like I'm happy and such, like I'm trying to do things that are happy, but from day to day, I'm not really like that happy. I feel like I'm putting in a lot more work than the average person, and I'm not getting what I feel like I deserve in life. So it could just be like, like dating the big thing, and like I think, like people. So like I'll say like a very unattractive person, and then people like, oh, we have these people like X, Y, and Z, and they're all in a relationship. But how about the millions of people that are not in relationship at all in any capacity? You don't hear about them, and there are people, that have large following, but then there's so many millions more that don't have any following at all. There's some I interview and they can barely leave the house because, with COVID, it's a big thing, or it's a lot to deal with, or like they're allergic to the sun, and there's so many variables to it. And I don't think it can produce a happy life if you are limited to whatever because of your disability. Like I'm sure there'll be a lot of happier people, but it's also something you can't really expect out loud because, for one, it's just a morbid reality of things, and it's just people don't want to hear it. The only advice I really have for people that life it could be incredibly hard. If you're gonna want to have that extra high bar of excellence, you're gonna have to work twice or 3 times as hard as the next person to get even somewhat normal level playing field. But at the same time, I could just have really bad luck with my whole life of how everything has happened to me, because I know there are people that next to me have done a lot less and they get more out of life. So like I don't really know what I'm doing wrong per se, but like we mentioned before, it could be so many variables. For me, it could be my disability being a deterrent. It could be my personality that's a deterrent. It could be bad luck of just meeting the wrong people that don't have the same caliber personality I do. Like there's could be so many wrong, but everyone could say the same thing. So even a regular person could be apart from the disability, but it could be like meeting the wrong people. Like, some, are surrounded by drug addicts, so they become drug addicts too, and that too. And like, I
think that goes back to your point of, life is hard, like with or without a disability,
Yeah. And
and
like, I want to give them hope. Like, I really do. But like, I don't want to give them false hope either. And like, you're going to have to work hard. Like when I'm doing the YouTube and stuff, it seems fun and stuff, but like, it like editing, it takes a lot of time. Getting guests is exhausting sometimes. Getting rejected all the time, or like planning things and then plan not following through and such. Like, it's a hustle and a grind, and like, you don't see that. Like, you don't see the struggle. Like, even if you show it, you also don't want, like, even when you're struggling, like, you don't want to share it. Or even, it's also when someone shares on social, like, their struggles, you don't want to hear it because you're already dealing with your own shit, so you don't really know what other people are feeling. And it's like, it's really difficult. I think it's also, I think a big variant is if you're a guy or a girl too. I think it changes a lot in the way you're viewed in society.
Yeah. So you're saying like, it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to be strategic, and you're going to have to work hard. You're just trying to be real. And I think that's your whole brand is, humor paired with, being blunt. And, I guess what I'll say is like, for me being across from you in this interview, like, it sounds like you have struggles with mental health, maybe not, I don't know, but it sounds like, and with the disability, you have physical, symptoms that you're dealing with, pain from, what's happening with your body. How do you try to take care of yourself? How do you try to not go even further down, a darker path? Or like, what keeps you, cause like you had some hesitation in the question of like, are you happy to be here? Like, but what keeps you here?
I think for one, it's just like having my long-term goal of, like, want the fame and the fortune and the power. I think that would help me keep me aligned of like, and then I kind of group it with society rules of like, what do I have to do to put my name out there? Like, I'm like, before I started all of this, I was just sitting on a island, but no one was, like, flying over me or anything. So like, what do I have to do to could become larger than life? Like, I know I have a great story, and every time anyone touches me, it becomes gold. And like, what do I have to do to make myself put myself in other people? And like, I physically couldn't go anywhere, so like, what every mentally disturbed person do, what do? They start a podcast. And but I know it's a whole meme and it's a joke and such, but like, I just saw the competition. I didn't think it was, I mean, a podcast in itself is kind of easy to do. It's just more longevity, but I just saw the competition. I thought it was really like low quality, not great at all. Like, I hate when people ask me like, oh, like, what's your name and like, what's your disease? And like, I just think of like, I think it's just too easy to do. So like, I try to adopt like things I do like. So like, when you watch the stand-ups, they always have a quote. So like, here comes from whatever, and then here comes this person. Or a late night show, they'll go, this actor and promoting this movie and stuff. So I bring that into my things to create my own show. And it's like, instead of me being on other people's stuff to be popular, why don't I just start becoming that popular person to give a platform to other people? So I've been starting to do that. And then the other thing is that I was lonely a lot. So like, how do I have people, like, I remember I think it was on The Simpsons or something, like, sit next to the garbage can and people will have to come to you because they got to throw out the trash. But like, when you're on a podcast, you bring people on and you talk for an hour, so you have someone to force to talk to you for an hour. But like, I think like a big thing was like, how do I make like what makes a healthy person healthy. So one thing is seeing people. So like sometimes me interviewing people would be like the only people I really talk to. So I've been doing that, and like that helps me. I also like control of myself because I can't be in a box. I've always been in a box my entire life, and it really sucks. So like my YouTube channel, I'm free to do whatever I want. Sure, some of it's raunchy, and sometimes I got too explicit and such. I think I did a little power. Like too powerful, and I just could say anything I want.
When you just said powerful, like the light from the sun just like lit up your face. Like you said powerful, and the lighting just went
like hallelujah music or something, holy music. Yeah, this is perfect for this episode. But yeah, this like, just start, like I can be myself fully, and like people are gonna see my personality for whatever it is. I think I'm just in a place where like it's new to me, and I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I see a lot of it with and a lot of like actors and stuff. If you watch their like earlier work, they're doing a lot of the same things I'm doing, like a lot of sexual content, controversial stuff, like fun stuff. And then as we get older, we get more like normal. I try to keep my kid element to me to keep it going. I don't want to be an adult, but I guess I feel like I'm an adult because I'm wearing a nicer shirt, but more casual things. Like also want to be like we're best friend talking on a camera. I don't want it to be like too perfect and such. And delight is really thank you God for helping me.
So what I'll take from that is like, and I think what you're saying is, and what I'm trying to do is unpack what you're saying, because there is on honesty, a lot of raw honesty that some people could and will perceive as negative, just being honest with you from this interview. But what I'm hearing, the optimistic person I try to be, or at least as a host, is saying like being disabled's hard. So you're going to have to find ways to be happy, and you're going to have to find a purpose that makes you happy to get up. For example, your YouTube channel, your podcast is a great way, creative way for you to express yourself, also to interact with people and talk to people. And then you're also going to have to, your advice is for people with disabilities to just kind of, accept that it's going to be hard and not really place the blame on society as much as maybe you think the community does. And I don't know, it's like I think that's all very practical advice.
Yeah, and I think I want to add to it that as a disabled person, the rules also don't apply to you at all either. Like I think I did always been pushed so hard my entire life of trying to be better than everyone else, because like I wasn't getting the things that I thought I should be getting for like being a good person, and just trying half decently or good enough. And I think it's like now I know like my caliber is higher than the average person, but I'm also not getting the fruits of my labor that I'm expecting. And I think I have to accept that's just to add to that life is hard. And
you're saying don't wait for permission. Don't wait for permission.
I mean, to do whatever you want. Like I talked about earlier, like I got like a lot of followers, but I lost some. Just like at the end of the day, just do whatever you want, because at the end of the day, it's all about you. Like 99% of us around us don't really like care about you. Like most of them you're never gonna see again. Most you'll probably never talk again. The only person that really like you really care about is like your family, if you're privileged to have that. Someone that you're dating or you're married or whatever, and then like your best friend, and then one that's kind of like half your best friend but half not, and then you might have like one of those that talk every like 6 months or a year and such, and then the rest really doesn't matter. Like I don't really just keep doing what you're doing. If you're in a field like this, maybe you want to be a little more friendlier, because who knows, like 5 years down the line, like I might need you for something, or you might need me for something. Like God is putting the light on me right now, so the spotlight is on me. But yeah, I think it's that. But like at the end of the day, like 99% of the people around you, that didn't matter to you at all. I know it's kind of shitty to say because I need people to like watch my videos and be like, it's like weird because I'm like insulting the audience, but like I'm also being very realistic of how other people would do, because I feel like a lot of us think we're really special, but we're like really not. Like most people don't really care. Like I don't think people care that much about like my disability at all. I think I can say that they might think I'm funny and entertaining and stuff, but like I don't like, I personally don't think I'm doing as great, like a great servant to like the disability community. I kind of going what society kind of like, and I'm going based on them. So they like people that are funny and people that have unique stories and stuff. So I'm feeding out for that, but I don't think I'm actually like, I guess I'm educating a little bit, but I don't think I'm like helping the society. I'm just more being like an entertaining figure. Like I think of myself as an entertainer than like an educator.
Yeah, and I think that's good. Like, I think, and I'll say this is my personal opinion, and I think even when you were giving me advice on like my YouTube channel, I think you even said this. You were like, not everything has to be about a disability, you know? And it's like, as a channel that is about, you know, vision loss and disability, you know, I'm trying this to be an outlet for people to learn and kind of have this kind of a focus on those topics. But to a degree, right? Like, we are the creators, you know, we can do more through our entertainment and videos than maybe people think we can. You know, versus a lot of people. I think what you're preaching and advocating for is you don't have to play by the rules that the disability community maybe wants you to. And, you know, you're an independent creator, but you're also an independent, you know, disabled creator. And you're going to say things that people disagree with. You're going to say things that, you know, hurt, you know, people's feelings potentially. I don't know. I don't think that's your intention, because I think you're a nice
just
guy.
To add to that, I think the disability community is also a little privileged. I don't think they understand it per se. So like, I'll give an example.
How are they privileged in the sense, and what do you mean by that?
So I think like one of the things is like, so like kind of ties with the ableism kind of thing. Like, so like when you grow up disabled, you are helped a lot. So like, let's say you're helped with like, you know, having to learn stuff and like being in smaller classrooms and be giving all the classes. So you kind of meet at the level of what a regular person does, you know, like, you know, after so like a big kind of thing is like after the age of 21, you're on your own and such. But the thing is like, we are coddling these people that are growing up to 18 so much that when they're 18, they still need help because we've been coddling them so much. And so they need help from 18 to 30 now. I know now kind of a big group of the young adult rare disabled community. But if you just talk to a regular 18-year-old, they don't have anything. They're not helped to find a job, to find a place to live, you know? And then like these disabled people are given these things to help find a job and training and all that, and it kind of like it gives them a privilege. Another thing is that another privilege is that sometimes we can use our disability as an excuse to not wanting to do something. I'm sure some of us do, like just, you know, like like we're kind of expected to do less so we can get away with more. So like I kind of talk about with the podcast thing, you know, like if I deliver a sub-poor podcast, you know, a regular person would be like, oh, that's amazing that he was able to do the podcast and so proud of you for doing it and all that. And I'm just like, really? You're setting the bar low for themselves on purpose because that's what's expected of you. And you're like, oh yeah, that is great. And then like the other thing, we're comparing our disability selves to our other disability selves. And I think that's harmful because you're already limiting yourself. And so like I was gonna talk to an autistic filmmaker, and you gotta talk to other autistic filmmakers of how to make a video. And it's like, why did one autistic person have to talk to another autistic film person to help with film? Like he kind of decent filmmaker, like, why should you limit it to him? Why don't you go to like Jim Cameron, where he's a master at it? Like, he's the top tier of it. So like, you know, like, so both of our podcasts are high quality podcasts. Like, we have great cameras and great microphones and great editing, because we set a high bar for ourselves, because we separate ourselves from the disability community. If I just went to the bar of the disability community, it would be much slower. I wouldn't even buy a $2,000 camera, wouldn't even buy a mic. It would just be like, we're just having a conversation. And sure, it's great to have the conversation, but, you know, like, we both know, like, when you have a higher quality microphone and higher quality video, it gives you more of a professional feel to it. And people like that. So I use regular people as my, not really role model, but like something I want to emulate. So I'll emulate like late night shows, because that's what it is. And I feel like that's why like I like the disability community, but I also don't like it because the bar is so low. And I do get there's some people that take a lot of, you know, there are, you know, like a big thing is like fatigue and using spoons, and I do get them, but I think some of us, I also think of it like there's regular people that don't have any ailment and they don't do that much anyway. So why can we apply that logic to the disability community? You know, sure, some of them maybe more fatigued and stuff, but a lot of them probably aren't that motivated either. Even you took away the disability, would they really be anything much better than the average person, regular person? Maybe they'll do a little more, but they're not going to raise the high bar. You know, like if I didn't have a disability tomorrow, my bar of doing this podcast would still be high. I already set the bar already high. But the next person will still maintain that same bar because they always been used to that. And I think that's what, so I try to, like that's why I feel like I'm a pioneer in the disability community, because I'm setting the bar higher up. And now that I'm monetized, like I have something to say now, because if you want to do something, you got to do kind of the way I've been doing, but also at the same time, don't listen to me, because for one, I feel like I'm such a lucky person and luck was on my side to get to this place, because a lot of, you know, like a lot of sponsors don't like who I am, like me doing sex jokes and talking about your mom. You know, I never talked about your mom yet, but, you know, like sex jokes and like being like fighting against the disability community. Like everything I'm dropping in this podcast, I'm sure a lot of people are, maybe they'll understand it and they'll like it, but sometimes they're just not gonna like it. And some people have a nicer way of putting it, things, and I think that's great, but I just like things straightforward and to move on with it. But I think that's kind of, I think everyone can, like, watching the video can understand, like, I can understand why he's a YouTuber and he's popular, but also why he's single at the same time. It's like kind of like, do I get famous? Do I stay single? It's like, where do I go from here? And it's a hard situation, but this is the situation I'm in.
You know what? I think you are providing more hopeful message than I think you are. And I agree completely about setting the bar high. I know people too, like they, in the RP community, it's like their world is all RP. All their friends have RP. Everything is centered around that world, you know, where in my opinion, it's honestly best. Like if you're I think, you know, being a part of a community is great. Like me joining the disability community, vision loss community has been wonderful for me. I love it. But if I only was in that community, I would not like that. Like I like having the separation, you know, I kind of like having a variety of different friends, you know, with different lifestyles, you know, and just ways of thinking and cultures. It's just like, it's like my idols or what I'm looking to do with my career don't have a disability, you know, but like I will for sure notice, you know, when someone who has a disability is killing it, and I'm like, oh, like, you know, and that pumps me up, because I think there are, you know, to change the game, like, and this is what I always talk about, is like, I think there's a huge echo chamber in the disability community where it's just everyone talking back and forth to each other and everyone's hearing and regurgitating the same thing. And your message is very unique. But it's like, in terms of messaging and avoiding that echo chamber, it's like, you don't want to just be popular in your niche, right? You want to be popular. You want to be successful, not successful for someone with RP or successful for someone with FOP. It's like, you're just like, I'm setting the bar high. Like my bar is set to match anyone's. I can be better than anyone.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not trying to be liked by everyone. I'm trying to be liked by I guess you could say, the elite of people. The people that actually...
Yeah, that's my point, is you're saying you're trying to be elite. Like, and that feeling of being elite has nothing to do with disability or not having a disability. You're just like, all right, there's an elite class of people. I'm trying to be in that class of people.
I did happen
what
to
you're
be
saying
disabled.
And you're disabled. Whereas you're saying is, you think an issue is a lot of disabled people tend to, stick with what's familiar and have, and try, they're not expected to do as much. So therefore they don't do as much. And your message, in a sense, is like, nah,
why?
Go out there. You're going to have to work 3 times harder to stand out. Your life's going to be super hard, but it's just like, don't let society's expectations or drawbacks prevent you from trying to be the best person that you can possibly be.
If you want true equality among the disabled community has to be a part of regular society. So like, I don't know if it's like I don't like, let's say there's like there are disability awards, I guess, but like, let's say there's like I'm not talking about the Academy Award, but let's say like I created an award for like greatest disability actor in 2022, and I list 6 people.
Yeah,
that's great, right? Cool. But like, if you want true equality, you want a disabled person to be in the same list of, like, I don't know if it's Academy Awards that like are that's actors and stuff, but if your name on that list with other able-bodied people, that's equality, because you're with them, because now you're dealing with the elites of it.
I agree completely,
and that's the true equality.
That's what happened with Coda. It won Best Picture, and that it won Best Actor. So it as a deaf actor in a movie about the deaf.
No, I saw the movie. It was really
Best
good.
Picture.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. I was like, dang. But like, it wasn't even about the disability that was so good. It was just, it was a part of it, but like, I didn't watch it because of disability. And I thought the concept was really cool about it, and I did watch it. It was a really good movie, like disability or not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of pushing for. Not like disability that. It's like, yes, I do have it, but I don't make it a focal point, and that's true equality of being mingled with regular people. That's true equality, and like, I don't think people see that far into it. Or just like, we want to be pushed. We want to be seen and such, and like...
Yeah. You don't want to be coddled.
I don't think it helps, though. I think you're just... Yeah. If you're just coddled, it doesn't help you at all, because... it's also...
Because the life's hard, like you said.
it's life hard, and you want to make it harder, but... Like, I think we're both pioneers that we're carving new paths of it. Because a lot of people are just, like, waiting for people. So, like... So a disabled person will like be like, oh, I can't be a YouTuber because they don't see anyone that's disabled YouTuber. I know there's like, I think 5 to 10 that I know of, but like, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna wait because there are none. Like, let's say they don't know any. Like, there are none, so I'm never gonna do it because it doesn't exist. And I'm like, why don't you be the first one to do it? Or what, acting or any medium? Like, go and be the first one. It take a lot of work and stuff, but it's possible. But like, just gotta put in the work, and a lot of people don't want to put in the work, and I do understand that it will take a lot of work and stuff, and I do understand that it's hard. But like, you gotta like push forward and push the different medium. But I also feel like I'm such a different, I just feel like I'm a very different disabled person that sometimes I feel like I should push more for the among disabled content to help. But like, I don't know.
Well, you're very individualistic, whereas some people in the disability community are very communal, and they're kind of like, just trying to kind of blend in and have a community to be a part of. Whereas you're like, I'm a part of that community, but it's by choice. But I'm more so an individual, independent, artist, creator.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's what society is. Like, at anything, it kind of like, I don't know, you can just talk about any other thing. It could be like women, for example. Like, like, I'll be like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm doing this and that. And I'm like, so what? Like, you just did it anyway. Like, your woman, sure, have maybe created some obstacles, but you still did it as a person. Like, you can't just stop pushing. You just push yourself and just keep going forward. Like, if there's no one that you see that's you, then you just do it yourself.
It's funny because I feel like a responsibility to, like, as a host, with all my conversations are normally more, I always like to have a tinge of hope. I always like to end with hope, and your message is pretty nihilistic a little bit, but it's realistic, and there's like threads of optimism and just practical advice throughout your approach, which is work hard. Life's going to be hard. Accept it. Be elite, and don't be afraid to be an independent person. You don't have to be someone in your community. You don't have to just surround yourself with people with your disability or in the disability community. You can, obviously be a part of that community. I think I personally recommend that, and I think you do too. But I think what you're saying is don't make it your entire universe. Try to be just get out there and be a part of society,
just
and
be with
elite
people that
in society.
like you and want to live for you, and that's really it. That's what I'm trying to find. Like, I'm just trying to, like, I met a lot of great people, but like, they just not lift. Some just like to be regular people, and I'm like, that's cool. But like, I want to be lifted. I want to be pushed to new bounds that I don't know existed, and I think it's hard to find those people that want to be pushed and keep pushing. And like, I think it kind of comes to like relationships. Like, most people are going to marry one person. Like, you don't marry 200 of them. You marry one person. And like, it's really hard to find that one person to marry. You got to marry them because you don't want the government involved, because you don't want to lose them. So it's really hard to find that one person. But yeah, just keep doing what you're doing and just go with it, and just find the people that are good people around you that want to push you forward. But also got to do what your values are too. Like, I like to be pushed, but some people are not comfortable being pushed, and that's fine. But if you want to become bigger than what you are now, you got to go past your boundaries and keep going forward. And you might lose a lot of people, but that's just part of the game. And I'm getting unfortunate I didn't really have anyone, so I was able to create my own path and just keep going forward, and hopefully attract people that are at my caliber, that understand what I'm doing, and keep going. Someone like Lance. And
I think definitely we have a lot in common, especially in the sense of, where we're coming from as creators and our goals. I think we both take it very seriously, and we're at the same time have a ton of fun with it, which is rare. Most things, you take seriously. That's how it has to be. You have to have fun doing the things you take seriously, or else you're not going to do them, But, where can people find you on YouTube? What do they type in? They just type in your name, right? Joe Sooch?
Yeah, to the one person that's listening to the end of this, I don't know why, like, maybe you have me in the background or something. But yeah, I mean, most people don't watch to the end of the video anyway. But yeah, they follow me on Joe Sooch, the same name everywhere. Like I'm sure you look at your statistics, so there'll be like one person that watches or even zero. So like, like I've been thinking and doing with my videos, like, when someone mentions their name and they like, you totally blank out. So what I'm thinking of doing with all my future videos is just have a different name. Like, hey, my name is, like John Cena. Like, I'm going to just change my name every single time. Yeah. And most people will probably believe that I even recognize it, except you, because I told you. Maybe if someone's a fan for a long time and they'll be like, hey, wait a minute, his name's not John Cena or Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Joe Sooch. And like, I don't know, you kind of take it, it's like a psychological thing to, I don't know, I kind of take advantage of it because, I don't know, I'm too unique of a person. It sucks to have to be in this position to do it. But yeah, follow me at Joe Sooch for my creative talk, and who knows what will happen. I have a lot of great ideas I want to do in the future. Just like like pushing the envelope and destroying things at a wall and have fun with it. And like, I have a lot of great things that it goes beyond this podcast, but I'm just doing me at this point. I'm not a character.
No, I love it, man. I love it. And I'll have links in the show description if you're one of those people that Joe says is listening.
Hey, it's realistic, right?
It's such a YouTuber thing to say. But yeah, links in the show description, if you want to follow Joe on Instagram, and I'll have a link to his channel and all that good stuff.
Or maybe I'll get blocked.
But Joe, man.
Maybe I'll get blocked and
what was that?
No one can find me. And I'll be a conspiracy theorist that they're trying to block me from everything.
All right, man. But yeah, this has been a wonderful conversation, man. I'm excited that I can have you on. It's a different perspective that's ever been, shared on here. So, I like to give, voices to all types of opinions. I'm not trying to build on an echo chamber. So it's like,
finger crossed you get 1 million views.
Let's hear some different opinions, Yeah, that'd be sick if this was, the million views, but
let's do it.
All right, man. Take care.
Peace.